myself Prem Prakash Singh. I got recommended from 19 SSB Allahabad for NDA 149th course. Uh, I belong to Rohtash, Bihar, and now I'll be joining academy soon. It was my first attempt of SSB, but the second attempt of written. I couldn't clear written in my first attempt.
Your communication was a little bit weak, and
Yeah.
you were not able to frame sentences. So how did you conquer that problem? तुमने कैसे उसे मतलब अच्छे से मतलब जैसे अभी तुम बोल रहे हो, अगर अपने आप को रेट करो आज से, मतलब जब तुमने स्टार्ट करा अपने कम्युनिकेशन पे वर्क करना, तब क्या था और अब क्या है, मतलब ये डिफरेंस इतना कैसे आ गया?
Actually, I have recorded video of mine when I was practicing myself speaking in a YouTube in a video for myself only. So that was very kind of nervous of me. In that video, I also said that I am very nervous. I'm not used to it. But now, when you are practicing it day by day, things changes. It takes time, but things changes a lot.
What happened in your first attempt? Why didn't you able to qualify the written examination in your first attempt?
There were a lot of reasons I didn't practice that much questions. I was not aware about PYQs. I was just following sessions and sessions. Although I was not understanding the concept too.
तो अब हम जो देखने जा रहे हैं वो प्रेम प्रकाश की स्टोरी है, जो बिहार के एक छोटे से गांव से आता है। उसने अपने कम्युनिकेशन को कैसे सुधारा, वो कैसे एसएसबी में फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में रिकमेंड हुआ, और रिटेन में उसकी क्या स्ट्रैटेजी थी, और एसएसबी में उसने स्पेशली किस तरह से परफॉर्म करा, और एसएसबी को लेके क्या स्ट्रैटेजी थी, वो सब हम इस वीडियो में देखेंगे। सो स्टे ट्यून्ड।
Welcome Prem to our session. Today we are going to conduct a session where we will know about your strategy, how you followed all the things regarding NDA preparation, and how did you prepare for this examination. So first of all, introduce yourself to the audience.
First of all, thank you, Utkarsh Sai, for calling me upon your platform. Myself, Prem Prakash Singh. I got recommended from 19 SSB Allahabad for NDA 149th course. I belong to Rohtash, Bihar, and now I'll be joining academy soon.
Just tell the audience about your attempt. Was it your first attempt?
It was my first attempt of SSB, but the second attempt of written. I couldn't clear written in my first attempt.
Okay. So like basically you mentioned about it was your second attempt for your written examination, but it was the first attempt for the SSB. So like what happened in your first attempt? Why didn't you able to qualify the written examination in your first attempt?
There were a lot of reasons I didn't practice that much questions. I was not aware about PYQs. I was just following sessions and sessions. Although I was not understanding the concept too, I scored just 67 marks in my math and 210 in my GAT section. I was thinking that I am good in GAT, but in that part also, I failed to make any good thing. I also failed to make any good strategy, because if you are getting into any examination, you need to know about your strategies, what you are going to do in your exam preparation.
Okay, so this time have you calculated your written marks? How much you are getting?
This time also I couldn't get that much marks, but I think it's around 380 to 390, around 110 in maths and 217 in GAT.
Okay, but still you got 386 rank. It is something which shows that you are at least you are meriting, and also you are medically fit. What was your preference? Army, Navy, Air Force?
Army,
First
then Naval,
Yeah.
then Naval Academy, then Air Force, and then Navy.
Okay, so like your first preference was Army.
Hmm.
So now we will go step by step. Like we will first discuss about the written, and then we will go for the SSB. So like what was your strategy for the mathematics section? Before that, I would like to know about your background. Like when you have decided about the NDA, was it in class 10th or class 12th?
Uh, Actually, it was in my mind since my class 6. There were some seniors who are going to Sainik school, so I asked them, भैया सैनिक स्कूल में क्या करवाते हैं? So they told कि after 12 we give an NDA examination, and there is a very tough interview over there. So it was in my mind, but till class 10th I had left those seniors. I had left that school, but after 10th there is a need where everyone is thinking about IIT, NEET. So I had also to choose that time. So I choose NDA because it was back in my mind that I have to somehow join armed forces. So that was the reason that I wanted to join armed forces. और मतलब बैकग्राउंड तो ऐसा ही था.
So you didn't try for the Sainik school? It is a trend in the Bihar.
Yeah.
I tried for Sainik School Nalanda, but I couldn't even clear the written examination.
Okay. So basically, in NDA there is a two section. The first section is the mathematics, which is of 300 marks. So what was your specific strategy? Like from where you started? First, tell us about your strategy, and then we will come to about like what kind of strategy a student should follow if he is someone who is basically is a beginner for the NDA.
I'll say if you are starting for mathematics, you need to be good in basics. You need to at least complete ONS NCRT. That is what I did in my class 11, 12 NCRT at first. Then you need to get into the concepts. Of basic concepts are really needed in examinations like National Defense Academy's written examination. Uh, my thing was I hadn't that much time. I had only 40 or 35 or 40 days. So my strategy was that I'll be completing one chapter once a day, and what I'll be doing is I'll be completing my concepts first because I have done my NCRT part before. So concepts are easier now, and I have also done the questions from NCRT book. So I know at least some basics, and then after doing those concepts, writing them in a proper paper, and then doing PYQs of 2016 and onwards. So it was my schedule. I had made a strategy that I'll be doing this chapter on this day, this chapter on this day, and I tried to follow it. Maybe someday I couldn't follow that, but I at least tried, and that helped me a lot. I focused a lot on math because last time I felt that I was very weak in math. So this time, another thing in my strategy was I didn't try to do that much questions. Like there are 120 questions in math examination. I just did 65 in written examination, and 50 of them were right. So I tried least questions with good accuracy.
Yeah.
So that was my strategy in mathematics.
And what happened in the last attempt when you were not able to qualify that?
I didn't went prepared. Like
Okay. So at that time, is there any idea that when you were not able to qualify, so like what was the like कितने questions तुमने attempt किए थे उस attempt के लिए?
I attempted around 55 questions, and around 38 were right. 37, 38 were right.
Okay. So, is there any sources like books you particularly you would like to suggest to the aspirants who is watching this video? So, कोई ऐसा book हो या कोई resources हो जो तुमने PYQs और mock वगैरह के लिए follow करा हो या practice के लिए?
I think there are short tricks available on YouTube channels, various YouTube channels like Arpit Chaudhary sir, the Tutors Academy of Chitra ma'am. Those are really helpful. At that time, there was a book of Arpit Chaudhary, like Road to NDA Mathematics. So there are short tricks in that book. So that is really helpful, man. If you are applying those in real questions, you will be used to that if you will practice this.
Okay, so from here, like you have mentioned all about your mathematics resources. Now the GAT, the second paper will
Covered by
be
me.
going to commence, and it is all the questions regarding GAT will ask by Salil.
Yeah.
Start, Salil.
Okay, so now we are going to move the second paper, which is GAT. GAT is something like is an ocean. So आपका क्या अप्रोच था GAT में, क्योंकि GAT में लगभग 9 सब्जेक्ट होते हैं, और साथ ही साथ उन लोगों को क्या बताना चाहिएगा आप कि जो GAT जिनका अच्छा नहीं होता है वो कैसे GAT को कवर अप करें?
Like in GAT, I know it's a vast subject. My target was for the written. My target was 100 plus 300. Means I wanted to score 400 in my written exam. So in my math, my target was 100, so that I didn't had to do that much questions. But in my GAT, my target was 300.
Hmm.
So I thought, ki, how can I achieve that marks 300? Like for a people, for a person, 300 is a decent mark in GAT.
Hmm.
So I thought that English is a scoring area. Like there is spotting errors that you can practice and do it very well. Sentence rearrangement you can do it very well. And then other part is vocab. So vocab you need to learn it, understand it. So I had another part for vocab. I studied it from Dheeraj sir.
So,
Is a good teacher for vocab. And other things I practiced. For vocab also I practiced PYQs. Although I couldn't did that well in my English examination. That's why my marks in GAT are not that good. But I'll suggest you need to do it perfectly. I didn't focus on that much. Apart from that, science is a scoring area also, because
hmm.
there are concepts in science. Uh, so you can make a strategy that there are 20, at least around 25 questions in physics. So you can think that if I am doing this much questions, so I'll be doing 15 questions. If you are okay with 11, 12 science and 9, 10 science, then it will be very easy for you to clear those things. And most of those things are conceptual. Very less things
Yeah.
are that numerical type. And in GS is a vast, as you said, GS is really
Hmm.
vast. I preferred Learn with Sumit channel for
Yeah.
that. Sumit sir really thinks it's very good. Like in geography, when you'll study from him, he clears every concept right, and that helped me a lot in my geography. It was very it helped me to from that situation. Like I got 270, so geography helped me a lot.
ओके सो तो आपके रिसोर्सेज तो आपने बता दिया, लेकिन आप उन एस्पायरेंट को क्या सजेस्ट करना चाहोगे कि जो मतलब जीएटी सेक्शन के लिए बुक सजेस्ट करना चाहते हैं, तो कोई आप बुक सजेस्ट करना चाहोगे उनके लिए?
I'll suggest ki you can prefer any book which has good concepts, or you can just follow teachers and ask them for their notes. Like this is very vast. And vocab, I'll say that you need to do PYQ. PYQ Pathfinder में भी है, या
Yeah.
फिर दिशा की भी PYQ की book आती है. So you can prefer any of them. And in GAT or maths, I'll say you need to do mock tests. Mock tests are very important. तो मॉक टेस्ट के लिए अगर आप ऑनलाइन देना चाहोगे तो टेक्स्ट बुक इज गुड. टेक्स्ट बुक हैज गुड मॉक टेस्ट फैसिलिटीज. लाइक they provide 15 mock tests, so
ओके
that is good. And apart from that you can buy some books like दिशा या रिहंत की शायद आती होंगी. मैंने उसको ट्राई नहीं किया था, बट आई रिकमेंड कि आप कर लो.
ओके ओके सो द लास्ट क्वेश्चन इज दैट what do you want to say those student who is just trying to crack the NDA written examination? मतलब
लाइक
आपके तरफ से क्या मैसेज होगा उन लोगों के लिए जो रिटन एग्जामिनेशन निकालना चाहते हैं इस बार?
से कि देखो, बड़ा गोल रखो. लाइक मैंने अपना गोल रखा था कि भाई 400 मार्क्स लाने हैं, बिकॉज मैंने देखा था कि अगर आप 350 प्लस लाते हो देन यू आर क्लियर. तो मैंने सोचा क्यों नहीं 400 रखते हैं. तो बेटर
Okay.
यही रहेगा कि आप 400 से थोड़ा ज्यादा रखो. इफ यू आर वीक इन मैथ तो ट्राई करो कि आप मैथ उसमें ज्यादा नहीं करना, मैथ में फोकस करो, लेकिन ज्यादा फोकस जीएटी में करो. जीएटी आपके मार्क्स को बहुत ज्यादा कर देता है. आप 450 लाना चाहते हो, 350 मैथ में जीएटी में लाओ, 100 मार्क्स मैथ में लाओ, और उसके लिए स्ट्रेटेजी बना लो कि तुम्हें 100 मार्क्स मैथ में कैसे आएंगे.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, basically, I would like to ask two questions. Like the first question is in GAT, the English you mentioned about that was the biggest hurdle, as I can see. So how did you tackle that?
Yeah.
What were the resources? Like, would you like to suggest any kind of channel on YouTube? Because nowadays it is wide, it is a totally ocean where all the resources are available. We have to be selective. So in English, what was your strategy and what kind of resources you followed?
Uh, for resources, I'll say if you are a beginner, then Anish Pathak sir is a very good teacher for you. His channel name is Defense RC, and he provides very good content like in grammar or in vocab. And if you are a pro guy, like you can do questions or you are very good in it, then you need to follow Dheeraj sir from Arpit Chaudhary channel. He's a very good guy. In English part, he's God type. So my strategy was, as I said, like I did PYQs a lot. I did 10 years PYQ in English because as you know that my English was not that good, so I had to prepare that very well. So in sporting errors, I did a lot of practice. More vocab, I went into the classes, joined live quizzes type. So that made me very strong in that part.
Okay.
How many questions you have attempted for English out of 50?
I attempted all
You
because
attempted all.
I thought that English is an scoring area, so I need to attempt. Like I couldn't spare any spotting error because that was my one of the strongest parts. I couldn't
Oh.
spare any sentence rearrangement. That is also my strongest part. And the best thing was my practice work. Only two questions were wrong in them.
Oh.
The most of the questions wrong were in uh, vocab only.
Wow.
Yeah. Actually, the 30 questions in the NDA, they usually ask about the vocab, and
Hmm.
the only
Yeah.
20 questions are there from the grammar portion. So, like after doing all these, what would you like to suggest for the science section? Like, what was your specific strategy? Did you read the biology section, as usually all the mathematics students used to skip it?
I tried to read biology. One or two questions were right also in examination. One or two questions is about 8 marks, so that is a big number. But if you can do basics, you can just go through those basics of biology. You'll surely get 4 or 8 marks extra. And science section is like physics, chemistry. Everyone knows it. If you are from science background, and you can just revise them, and if you'll be revising them, you will get to know everything in science section.
Yeah. And what kind of strength you selected from the GS portion? Like there is a history, geography, current affairs, polity. So what was your choice?
I was good in current affairs and geography.
Okay.
History is kind of very vast, and since last 2 or 3 times I'm seeing history is too vast that I couldn't do any question in history, man. It is too vast. And in geography there are some concepts like that time I remember there were concepts of avalanche and there's some time concepts. So these are some questions that are fixed in NDA examination. So if you are going to examination, you need to focus on concepts more because if you are going to theory part, then it will be very vast like history. And in polity, yeah, you can go through polity and other subjects.
तो यार 150 क्वेश्चन थे जीएटी के, उसमें से तुमने कितने मतलब लगाए और कितने सही थे टोटल? कुछ याद हो थोड़ा
याद है,
अगर कुछ
पूरा रटा हुआ है.
अच्छा
I attempted 115 and around 80 of them were right.
गुड यार,
Hmm.
तुमने तो मतलब अच्छा खासा जीएटी में लिया, लेकिन चलो कोई नहीं, मतलब फाइनली एटलीस्ट finally you are going to the academy. It is something
हाँ.
which is
Big.
the biggest achievement. Like AIR1 को भी academy जाना है और तेरे को भी
Okay.
academy जाना है. So the difference is only the rank. There is nothing like that. So like this is all about the part one, and I would like to ask from Prem, like what at the at we have asked majority of the questions regarding all the things which usually aspirants have there in my mind. So the last message for the aspirants who are trying their best to crack this written examination, but still they are facing some problems in it. What would you like to suggest them?
Uh, I'll suggest just be consistent with your strategy,
Hmm.
make good strategy, and just follow them. Don't procrastinate. Like in this time, many of the people procrastinate. Even I did procrastinated. So avoid these things and keep preparing. Hope you'll be academy in next few terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Part one where we have discussed about the written. So now in this, it is something which is really an interesting one where we will discuss about the SSB. First of all, tell me about your SSB board, from where you got recommended, how many screening, and what was the ratio of the recommendation from that particular board.
Uh, I got recommended from 19 SSB Allahabad. Around 55 candidates reported on 9th of August, and 21 of them got screened in, and 10 out of them got recommended. I think the group was very good, and they were very good people. I was expecting more people to be getting recommended that time, but unfortunately they got concept out. But it was great ratio there.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, after cracking the written examination, uh, what was your initial step towards the SSB? Have you started your preparation at the early when you were preparing for the written, or after clearing the written, you started your SSB preparation?
Actually, I think when I started, when I just went through my written examination, that was on 10th of April. So I was very confused what to do for my SSC preparation. Like everyone, every aspirant has this confusion in his mind. So I thought someone suggested me go to some coachings. So I thought it's good when one took coaching for one thing. Like you are going prepared in the SSC. That is a good thing. So I booked seat for a very good coaching that named AFPA before my results only. So like everyone was saying, go anyone, go in any institute. But I was sure like if I'm going giving money, then I'll be giving it to a good institute. Otherwise, I'll be preparing myself only. Till that time, I was in some Telegram groups, and specifically some good groups I had. Like there was a group named Fly with AIR1. So that is Vipul Bhaiya. He was AIR1 in UpCat. So that time he helped me a lot. Like in my psych section, I was very good in psych because of him only. So for that 1 month that I had in my hand, I prepared for my psych. I started increasing my knowledge. I started reading newspapers. I started watching some YouTube channels like World Affairs, The Durant, and others. When I went to AFPA, they told me that you have lack of social awareness, you are not good in GDs. They basically told me about my weak section. Like I was very good in psych. They also said that you are good. You need to just perform some other psych test at your home. But I was weak in some sections like in GTO especially. So I came to home. I made my second nature to be friends with everyone. I started making friends around where I was living, where I was going. So that helped me to get exposure. Like I was very friendly with people. So that helped me a lot in SSP. Apart from that, I started preparing lectures extensively. Like there were some basic topics: Indo-US relations, Indo-Russia relations, Indo-China relations, Indo-Pakistan relations. So it gave me a basic knowledge of geopolitics and other world affairs. Apart from that, I also read about the national issues in newspapers or in editorials in the newspapers or on other YouTube channels like Study IQ. They usually show some national issues on their channels. So that was thing I was growing my knowledge with the help of the internet, and I was also doing some hobbies. Like hobbies are some good things. It helps in your personality development. So I was surfing on internet. I was helping aspirants. With Simra Priya, I had made a bot that time, and I kept uploading their files and books over there. I also used to help people, मतलब ऐसी sessions में. Then we had also a group where we used to practice like you guys do. So that also helped. Actually, I took initiative that I'll be conducting sessions. So everyone was like, "Yeah, Prem is conducting." So it was my responsibility to get there first. So everyone was elder than me. So everyone was like, "भाई तुझे करना है, तू कुछ भी कर, तू 8 बजे तुझे आ जाना चाहिए." तो मैं रोज सेशन में भी जा पाता था. So these things helped me a lot. Of course, friends helps me a lot. Like when you have good friends, then they help you a lot in your preparation, especially in SSB.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like your journey is quite inspirational and motivational for all of us. And you also mentioned about your friend, and you said that you took the initiative and made a group, WhatsApp group, and there you used to practice along with your friend. So this is something which is really very important for if you want to crack any examination. So like as I know, you said once that your communication was little bit weak and
Yeah,
you were not able to frame sentences. So how did you conquer that problem? तुमने कैसे उसे मतलब अच्छे से मतलब जैसे अभी तुम बोल रहे हो अगर अपने आप को रेट करो आज से, मतलब जब तुमने स्टार्ट करा अपने कम्युनिकेशन पे वर्क करना, तब क्या था और अब क्या है, मतलब ये डिफरेंस इतना कैसे आ गया?
Actually, I have recorded video of mine when I was practicing myself speaking in a YouTube in a video for myself only. So that was very kind of nervous of me. In that video, I also said that I am very nervous. I'm not used to it. But now, when you are practicing it day by day, things changes. It takes time, but things changes a lot. And that time, from that time, as I told, that I got a lot of exposure from talking to people. I got some confidence. I worked on my communication skills, like especially in English. I was not that good in speaking English, but now I'm little bit I'm good in that section, and hope I'll be improving it further too. Uh, so things practicing it helped me a lot to improve these things.
Yeah, okay.
So don't you think the communication plays a vital role in the SSB?
Of
What's
course,
your opinion?
look, in SSB you need to. They are finding good officers, but you need to convey that you are in that good person. You need to show yourself, and conversation skills is a good way to do so. Like you are meeting people, so you need to know how to start a conversation with them. You need to go into personal interviews. So if you have good communication skills, then you can do good in conversations.
ओके, सो यहाँ तक तो हमने कम्युनिकेशन के बारे में देख लिया कि हाउ यू covered all the parts regarding practice and all that kind of stuff, and also it is really commendable to you, like the way you improved about your communication, because you, I am also from Bihar, you are also from Bihar, and the biggest problem in the Bihar is the communication skill. we
Yeah.
Yeah.
we all know that in Bihar we always lack in the communication problem, but with the help of practice we can achieve anything whatever we have the desire to do.
True.
So basically, like in SSP, the first day is the screening part. So like,
Yeah.
what was your strategy for the OIR? First explain that, and then we will move to the PPDT.
Uh, First of all, I tried reasoning. I was very good in reasoning. As I told, I had given examination for Sainik school and other preparation in classes. So from that time only, I was very good in reasoning. So I did very well. I was sure that I'll be doing good in OIR. At least before going there, I practiced it from a book named SSB Crack का book है कोई 20 sets of OIR. You can find its PDF online. Then there was PPT. So PPT, you need to have a good narration with a good and practical and realistic story, and you need to also participate adequately in GD. So the first thing was narration, because people get nervous at that time, and I wanted to make myself aware of that. So I used to practice it at my home only or with my friends on online sessions. We used to narrate the stories one by one, and we used to get each other's feedback, like brother, you stuck there, brother, you stuck there. So that thing that helped me a lot. Or there are some things in narration, like you need to explain about number of characters, their gender, their age, their mood. So if you are in space, you forgot those things, and that time when you are about to give your narration, now that time is very stressful. Everyone can lose his mind, but that thing, if you are practiced, if you are aware of that thing, then you can do it easily.
Yeah.
And story writing. So story writing is simple. Like you need to, it's a basic thing that you need to write a positive, simple, and a story related to the picture. You don't need to get negative at a time without any reason in the picture. So there were some basics we used to discuss with our friends, and they had also some suggestions कि नहीं भाई ये ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, ऐसा होना चाहिए, and we used to consider those suggestions also, and this thing made a GD, like we were discussing on a picture. So this helped me in GD, like I was able to discuss in that kind of GD also. Although the GD was not that fish market type, it was formal type only, but it was good. I could make some points in the GD because of that.
Okay.
बिल्कुल सही, मतलब सबसे पहले तो ये ना कि अगर तुम बताना चाहो कि पीपीडीटी में रोल ऑफ इमेजिनेशन, कितना रोल
Yeah.
है तुम्हारे हिसाब से इमेजिनेशन का?
like they as I see, you can imagine negative or you can imagine positive. So that time you don't have that much time, so you'll be thinking that this is negative and this is positive. Then you'll be choosing a story that this is negative. I don't have to go to this story. You can change in your real life also. You will be thinking everything positive about everything. So in that time you will be getting only positive stories and you could write it easily. So there is a lot thing in sense of imagination. Like it helps a lot.
मतलब ऐसा लोग कहते हैं ना कि पीपीटीटी का इमेज प्रैक्टिस देखो और प्रैक्टिस करते जाओ, you will get lots of ideas and theme. Is it right?
Not
What do
that
you
much.
think?
I said it's adequate. Okay, you are practicing, but don't do that much. Like you are only those only into pictures only. You need to see the outside world also. You need to read newspapers, what people are doing, so you can get inspiration from those stories also. In newspapers, there are some positive news, or in your neighborhood or your environment, you must be seeing some good people around there. So you can take inspiration from them also.
Okay.
तो लाइक मतलब स्क्रीनिंग हो गए, तुम यहाँ से ठीक है, तुमने स्टोरी बनाया, कुछ याद है कैसा स्टोरी था, तुमने कैसे टैकल करा? और मतलब जैसा कि तुमने बताया कि इट वाज योर फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट, सो क्या उधर
Yeah.
जीडी में कोई मिस मार्केट वगैरह हुआ था, मतलब जहाँ पे तुम्हें गुस्सा आ रहा था कि भाई ये लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं, मेरे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, एक साथ सब बोलना स्टार्ट कर दिया इन्होंने, और तुम्हें अपॉर्चुनिटी की तलाश थी कि ऐसा बोलते हैं ना कि हाँ भाई थोड़ा सा रुकेगा तो मैं बोलूंगा, और वो आया ही नहीं। ऐसा कुछ कोई सीन या किसी कैंडिडेट के साथ जो तुम शेयर करना चाहो?
Mm, I think the story was about there were in the picture there were two people sitting on chairs. It was a scene of restaurant. We can see it easily, and one people was standing behind him. So I made a story that there were some business friends and they were talking about expansion of their business. So this was my theme of my story, and other people were saying that it is a restaurant and they are the owners of restaurant and they want to expand their restaurant. This is the new restaurant only, so they want to make it better, make it the best restaurant in the city.
Yeah.
So this kind, so it was kind of very familiar. But in GDs, of course, they will not give you chance to speak. You need to find your chance. If you will be thinking that they will be giving a chance, they will be giving a gap. It's very unfortunate that you couldn't get into the GDs without your consent only. They were not listening of mine. But at the end, I thought that I need to sleep. I need to get into the GD also. I need to understand their points and throw my points into their stories. So the thing was, when I gave my points, so they considered it. They didn't acknowledge it, but someone repeated my point. So my point was very good. I added points. Of course, it will help you if you give good points and if you add good things to group story. It's not the same that only your story is going to be the group story. Anyone's story can be group story. You just need to go with the group. You need to go. You need to add your points in that story. That is the thing.
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल, मतलब ग्रुप के साथ चलना है, ग्रुप को सपोर्ट करना है और एक
Yeah.
फाइनल कंक्लूजन करना है ना? तो
Yeah.
अभी जैसे कि हमने डे वन की बात करी, तो स्क्रीनिंग हो गए, मतलब तुम्हारे स्क्रीनिंग प्रोसेस कंप्लीट, और
Hmm.
उसके बाद हम लोग नेक्स्ट डेज के लिए बढ़ेंगे, तो वी विल टॉक अबाउट द साइट। सो साइट से मतलब लोगों के मन में आ जाता है ना कि हम लोग किसी को हायर कर लेंगे, किसी साइकोलॉजिस्ट को, और उसके बाद फिर अपना साइट बेटर हो जाए। तो मतलब तुम अभी जैसे तुमने बोला कि यू वेंट टू आफा फॉर द प्रिपरेशन ऑफ ऑल दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स, सो तुम्हें क्या
Hmm.
लगता है कि अगर कोई साइट को अपने बेहतर करना चाहता है तो क्या उसे कोचिंग जाना चाहिए, या फिर जो तुमने 17 ईयर्स और 18 ईयर्स के जर्नी में अचीव करा है वैसे ही रखकर उसे आगे ले जाना चाहिए? व्हाट डू यू थिंक?
I think if you are matlab 17 years, 18 years is a very long journey. You can learn from that journey like what you have did. But everyone is not that perfect for SSB. SSB is a kind of very complex personality test. So you need to make some changes into yourself also. If you realize those changes, so you can make. And psych test, I think that you need to be prepared for psych test. Either you prepare it from online sources or offline sources, but I think it's necessary to prepare it because it has a huge ह्यूज मतलब इसका काफी बड़ा इम्पैक्ट होता है, ह्यूज इम्पैक्ट ऑन योर रिकमेंडेशन। साइक प्लेज अ वेरी बिग रोल लाइक। तो वो आपकी दिखती है, वो आपसे बात तक नहीं करता है, वो बताता है कि ये बंदा कैसा है। तो आपका एक्सप्लेनेशन अच्छा होना चाहिए, आप अच्छी अच्छी स्टोरी लिखो, आप अपनी चीजों को उन स्टोरी में बताओ कि हाँ मतलब वो तो आपसे मिल नहीं रहा है, वो आपकी पर्सनालिटी को देख नहीं रहा है, लेकिन जब आप स्टोरीज लिखते हो ना तो उससे आपकी पर्सनालिटी के बारे में पता चलता है। आपने सही बोला कि वो 17-18 साल का एक्सपीरियंस ही होता है जो आप लिखते हो। लेकिन अगर आप किसी साइकोलॉजिस्ट से सलाह लेते हो तो ही will say कि नहीं भाई ये तो थोड़ी गलतियां कर रहे हो, तुम ये कर रहे हो। वो भी अच्छा होता है इफ यू टेक सजेशंस फ्रॉम एनीवन।
ओके।
तो बेसिकली मतलब जो तुमने बोला कि सजेशन लेना अच्छा है, लेकिन तुम्हारे ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि तुम कैसे इसे हैंडल करोगे, जो तुमने 17
या
और 18 ईयर्स में करते आए हो। तो लाइक
या
अभी जैसे टैट हो गया, ठीक है, तो टैट में है ना कि वो जो लास्ट पिक्चर होता है ना वो ब्लैंक होता है। बट
हाँ
जहां तक मार्केट में ये मैंने सुना है कि जो रिस्पॉन्सेस तुमने पहले दे रखा है आने वाले 10 या 11 स्टोरीज में, और वो डिफरेंस आ जाता है कहीं ना कहीं वो ब्लैंक में, क्योंकि ब्लैंक के लिए बहुत मेजोरिटी ऑफ द पीपल दे यूज टू प्रिपेयर एट
प्रिपेयर।
देयर होम एंड दे जस्ट go to the SSB board and they just write down all the things whatever they have prepared. So don't you think कि it will be called as a preconceived idea कि अगर वो जो 12वां या 11वां पिक्चर है वो उन्होंने सोच के रखा है, प्री प्लान करके रखा है, बट ऐसा होता है ना कि जो टाइम प्रेशर होता है उसके कारण से आप जो पीछे में स्टोरीज बना रहे हो उसमें ऐसा तो एक पल आएगा जब वहां पे एक स्टोरीज का जो पैटर्न है ना वो खिसकेगा, मतलब वो जो ऑर्डर है ना वो कहीं ना कहीं घसकेगा। तो क्या तुम्हें क्या लगता है कि हमें जो लास्ट स्टोरी है उसके लिए प्रिपेयर्ड होकर जाना चाहिए या फिर ऑन द स्पॉट हमें ऐसा मतलब बनाना चाहिए?
या आई थिंक दैट 12 स्टोरी, आई मैंने खुद क्या किया था, मैंने 2-3 स्टोरी बनाई थी 12 स्टोरी। बट मेरा वो था ना, मैंने जब पहली बार साइक टेस्ट दिया था और मैंने वो एक साइकोलॉजिस्ट को दिखाया था, ही सेड दैट यू आर inconsistent. You had wrote good stories also. You wrote so much bad stories. You are showing your cover dice in those stories. So you are not an perfect candidate. You are an average candidate. Instead, you have wrote such good stories. So yeah, you are right. You need to make consistency. But since then, I was very consistent in my stories. Like जैसी मेरी पहली दूसरी स्टोरी होती थी, मैं ट्राई करता था कि 12वीं और एक 12वीं जो ब्लैंक स्टोरी है वो भी ऐसी ही हो। इसलिए मैंने वहां पर 3-4 स्टोरीज बनाकर ले गया था कि हो सकता है कि वो थीम कभी कभी मैच भी कर जाती है आपने जो स्टोरी बनाई होती है। तो मैंने 3-4 स्टोरी बनाई थी और जो मुझे अच्छा लगा मैंने वो पुट कर दिया। कोई दिक्कत नहीं अगर आप 12वीं स्टोरी पहले से बनाकर जाते हो, लेकिन वो स्टोरी आपकी होनी चाहिए। ये नहीं कि कहीं से भी उठा ली, किसी से देख ली। दैट इज नॉट द थिंग।
ओके।
Okay, so like now it comes up, we are going to the VAT and the SRT. So what
या
do you think about how should one approach that VAT and the SRT?
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वैट, there are a lot of things in West. There are some suggestions from my side, or I have seen throughout my SSB journey. You need to avoid suggestions, orders, facts. These things you need to write observational sentences so the psychologist will be knowing about you. वो जब तुम अपने ऑब्जर्वेशनल सेंटेंसेस लिखते हो तो उसे पता चलता है कि तुम क्या सोचते हो उन चीजों के बारे में, उन चीजों के बारे में। तो ऑब्जर्वेशन सेंटेंसेस इफ यू राइट 40 to 45 ऑब्जर्वेशन सेंटेंसेस देन इट्स गुड। और इसे अप्रोच कैसे कर सकते हैं, लाइक यू कैन गेट अ लॉट ऑफ वर्ड के लिए वर्ड्स मिल जाते हैं तो आप उसे प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हो। मतलब पहली बात टाइम लिमिट मत लो, एक काम करो आप एक वर्ड का वर्ड लो और उसे एक ऑब्जर्वेशनल सेंटेंस बनाओ, एक अच्छा सा जो 4-5 वर्ड से ज्यादा ना जाए, 6 वर्ड से ज्यादा ना जाए, क्योंकि फिर वो काफी ज्यादा लंबा हो जाएगा। और ट्राई करो एक वर्ड से 3-4 बनाने के। ऐसे आप बहुत ज्यादा कर लोगे ना फिर आपकी आदत टाइप बन जाएगी कि if you are making a sentence from a word you can easily get that। और ऐसा भी नहीं होता कि आपको सारी ऑब्जर्वेशन बनानी होती है। अगर आपको नहीं आती तो ज्यादा प्रेशर नहीं लेना होता। आपको पता है कि आप कर लोगे, इसलिए तो आपको प्रैक्टिस करके जानी होती है। अगर आपको पता है कि आप कर लोगे तो आप फैक्ट्स भी लिख सकते हो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। और एसआरटीज आर लाइक, उसमें आपको इमोशनली अटैच नहीं होना होता है, या सिचुएशन रिएक्शन टेस्ट, बट नहीं होता है नहीं भाई मैं तो ऐसे करूंगा। जो सही चीज होता है वो लिखना चाहिए, तुम्हारे हिसाब से नहीं, जो एक नॉर्मली सही वे होगा वो लिखना चाहिए। तो एसआरटी से अटैच मत होना और एसआरटी को भी ट्राई करना कि उसको क्रिस्प रखे, क्योंकि टाइम बहुत कम रहता है, 30 सेकंड से जो वेरी लेस टाइम पढ़ने में और उसको समझ के सोचने में ही आंसर 20 सेकंड 25 सेकंड बीत जाता है, फिर आपके पास टाइम नहीं बचता कि आप लिख पाओ। तो स्टार्टिंग अगर आप ये दोनों प्रैक्टिस करके पहले से आते हो तो आपका थोड़ा सा आइडिया रहता है, और वहां पर दिमाग से स्ट्रेस भी कम होता है कि यार आई हैव प्रैक्टिस, आई कैन डू दिस।
So like now you have mentioned the whole thing about the SRT and the VAT.
Right.
So like SD के लिए तुमने घर से प्रिपेयर करके गए थे या फिर वहां पे तुमने मतलब क्या था तुम्हारा SD कैसा था तुम्हारा?
SD, like I had prepared my SD at my home only, and I added my weak points in those. I added कि मेरे मम्मी पापा के बारे मुझे क्या वीक्स होते हैं, मैंने रिलेवेंट पॉइंट्स लिखे जो मुझे लगता था कि ये चीजें होती हैं, और मैंने फिर उसे थोड़ा सा करेक्ट भी किया था ग्रामेटिकली अगर मैंने कुछ गलती कर रखा हो तो। और मैं उसे पूरा रट गया था। उससे फायदा ये होता है, जैसे मैंने वैट में 2 वर्ड्स छोड़ रखे थे, बट मैंने वो वर्ड्स लिख रखे थे। मैंने वो अपनी SD खत्म करी 7-8 मिनट में, फिर मैं उधर गया, मैंने वर्ड्स लिखे, फिर मैं जो लास्ट वाली SRT कर रहा था मैंने वो आधा लिख रखा था और आधा छोड़ रखा था, मैंने उसे पूरा करा। 1-2 और मैंने जो छोड़ रखा था उसे पूरा करा। तो अगर आप SD याद करके जाते हो तो यू हैव अ प्लस पॉइंट, और वहां पर जाकर सोचने में ना वो टाइम निकल जाता है, आप ठीक से लिख नहीं पाते हो। तो बेटर कि आप पहले से प्रिपेयर करके ले जाओ।
Okay. So like from here, now the rest of the part will be discussed by Salish, and Salish will ask you about the
Yeah.
GTO and the interview and the conference.
Mm-hmm.
So he will ask you.
So
Yeah, Salish, continue.
So interview is something like you can't be prepared, such like that lecturate or GD. But yeah, can be predicted. So what do you think on this topic?
I think yeah, interview can be predicted. Like in my case, it was obviously predicted. Like I had scored such good marks in class 10th, and in my class 12th, I didn't score that much. But I had my own reasons why I was not appeared for JE. There are some simple questions that you need to know about yourself. You need to introspect yourself what you have done throughout your life till date, कि और आपने क्या हॉबीज परस्यू करी, आपने कैसे दोस्त बनाए, क्यों बनाए, क्या करा आपने, वो चीजें ही में आस्क एनीथिंग। and if you are going to defense forces, you need to know about defense forces also, so you need to prepare those things like कि आर्म फोर्सेज क्या है, क्या बटालियन होता है, क्या कौन कौन सी रैंक्स होती हैं, वो चीजें जानना आपके लिए काफी ज्यादा जरूरी होता है अगर आप फौज में जाना चाहते हो तो। सो दिस थिंग्स वी कैन प्रिपेयर इन इंटरव्यू, ऑफ कोर्स, क्यों नहीं।
और तो लेक्चरेट और जीडी के लिए आप क्या करते थे? आप घर में प्रैक्टिस करते थे या मतलब ऑन द स्पॉट?
Lecturate, I had prepared some lecturate topics, and I had as I told कि मैंने न्यूज़पेपर भी पढ़ता था और मैं न्यूज चैनल्स भी देखता था, वो वर्ल्ड अफेयर्स टाइप, तो मुझे पता होता था बेसिक न्यूज। जो लेक्चरेट टॉपिक आया था वो मैंने प्रिपेयर तो नहीं किया था, लेकिन उससे रिलेटेड मैंने टॉपिक्स प्रिपेयर कर रखे थे। लाइक मेरा जो लेक्चरेट टॉपिक था वो था इंडिया फेलिंग नेबरहुड, तो मैंने CPEC पहले प्रिपेयर कर रखा था। मैंने श्रीलंकन क्राइसिस कर रखा था, मैंने न्यूज में देख रखा था कि म्यांमार में कू हो चुका है, मैं बांग्लादेश के हालात देख रखा था, मैं देख रहा था नेपाल पर चाइनीज इन्फ्लुएंस। तो ये चीजें मुझे पता थी कि क्या चीजें डिजास्टर कर रही है मेरी कंट्रीज में। फिर मैंने ऑर्गेनाइज, जब मैं पहले प्रिपेयर कर रहा था लेक्चरेट के लिए, तब मुझे पता था कि ऑर्गेनाइज कैसे करते हैं चीजों को। तो मेरे पास 3 मिनट थे, मैंने एक टॉपिक चूज करा पहला वाला, और फिर मैंने उसे उसी टाइम ऑर्गेनाइज कर लिया कि पहले बैकग्राउंड में ये बोलूंगा, फिर बताऊंगा कि ये चारों अभी क्या हालत है इनकी, फिर मैं बताऊंगा कि इंडिया इसमें क्या उनकी हेल्प कर रहा है, और फिर मैं वे फॉरवर्ड बोल दूंगा कि इंडिया को और आगे क्या करना चाहिए। तो ये चीजें मतलब मैं पहले प्रिपेयर था, मैंने पहले प्रिपेयर कर रखा था, तो वहां पर मुझे ज्यादा दिक्कत नहीं है। आई वॉज फेमिलियर टू दैट पार्ट, so this thing helped. And in GD, as I told before कि मैं अच्छा था, मैं न्यूज वगैरह पढ़ता था, और मैंने GD के लिए भी प्रैक्टिस कर ली थी ऑनलाइन, तो वो मतलब काइंड ऑफ अच्छा गया था, डिसेंट टाइप, नॉट दैट गुड बट डिसेंट।
मतलब कि लेक्चरेट और जीडी में आपको सेल्फ अवेयरनेस रखना जरूरी है, तभी आप मतलब सारे जगह से पॉइंट जोड़ करके अपना पॉइंट बोल सकते हो।
ऑफ कोर्स,
Yeah.
या।
So the next question is that what did happen in your conference? Did the assessors ask any kind of a stressful question?
My conference was very good.
Okay.
When I entered the room, he asked, is this your natural way to walk? I said, yes, sir. He said, okay. Then it was kind of very normal. He asked, ठीक है, कैसा रहा experience? Rate करो खुद को. And he said, all the best. Now you can go. So I think my conference was good. He didn't ask any such stressful questions or SRT.
तो मतलब आपका कॉन्फ्रेंस कितना देर तक चला था?
I waited for 3 to 5 minutes outside and inside around that only 3 to 5 minutes.
ओह, बस इतना ही? तो मतलब उस दौरान आपसे कोई स्ट्रेसफुल क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछा गया, जैसे कि कुछ डबल माइंडेड क्वेश्चन?
कुछ नहीं भाई, he didn't ask anything like that.
ओके ओके, सो मतलब मेरा ये कहना है कि मतलब जो कॉन्फ्रेंस में होता है, जब कोई वही बच्चा मतलब कॉन्फ्रेंस के दौरान स्ट्रेसफुल क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है, तो उनके लिए आप क्या कहना चाहोगे?
कॉन्फ्रेंस में मेनली वो पूछते हैं कि अगर उन्हें तुम्हें किसी चीज पर डाउट रहता है तो वो तुम्हें क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं. पहली बात तो स्ट्रेस मतलब स्ट्रेस अगर लेते हो तो तुम वो दिखता है कि तुम सिचुएशन ठीक से संभाल नहीं पा रहे हो.
ओके
स्ट्रेस मतलब और समझो उन चीजों को और जो तुम्हें उत्तर सही लगता है वो बताओ. मतलब अगर तुमने प्रिपेयर किया होगा, तुमने अपनी पर्सनालिटी पर काम किया होगा, देन यू विल बी नॉट गिविंग सच रॉन्ग और फुलिश आंसर्स, राइट?
ओके
दे सकते हो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. स्ट्रेस मत लेना बस, कॉन्फ्रेंस में चिल टाइप.
तो एक आखिरी क्वेश्चन है कि कौन सी ऐसी चीज़ थी जिससे आप मोटिवेट हुए डिफेंस फोर्सेस ज्वाइन करने की? स्पेशली आई थिंक योर फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस इज आर्मी, तो क्या क्या चीज़ें थी वो?
बहुत सारी चीजें थी यार. लाइक आई हैड सीन बहुत सारे लोग मेरे आसपास जो आर्म फोर्सेज में थे. आपने ज्योति प्रकाश निराला के बारे में सुना होगा. ही वाज अशोक चक्र. ही वाज फर्स्ट और ही वाज नॉट एन ऑफिसर एंड ही वाज फर्स्ट फ्रॉम एयर टू गेट दिस. तो वो काफी ज्यादा वो होता है, कॉम्बैट में थे वो, गरुड़ कमांडो थे. पीरो में एक थे वो, ही गॉट ऑल्सो. मतलब मैंने इतने लोगों को देख देख रखा है अपने आसपास कि वो चीजें मोटिवेट करती थी कि भाई मुझे भी जाना है किसी दिन वहां पर. और जैसे मैंने बताया क्लास 6 से था मुझे पता कि एनडीए वगैरह लोग जाते हैं. मुझे सैनिक स्कूल से काफी फैसिनेटेड था मैं. तो वो चीजें काफी मोटिवेट करती है भाई. और बाकी घर की हालत वो भी देखना पड़ता है. तो वो अच्छा था मोटिवेशन.
सो लास्ट क्वेश्चन ये है कि जैसे कि मतलब जो बच्चे जिनका रिटन हो चुका है, खास करके ये वाले अटेम्प्ट में, तो एसएसबी के लिए मतलब कैसे प्रिपेयर करें? आप क्या उनको सजेस्ट करना चाहोगे?
वही भाई साइड टेस्ट वगैरह प्रैक्टिस करो, क्योंकि रिटन से पहले तो आप खुद पर काम कर सकते हो. अब अभी खुद पर भी काम करना है आपको. अवेयरनेस जो है आसपास की चीजों के बारे में आपको जानना है. नई नई हॉबी डेवलप कर सकते हो. बुक रीडिंग शुरू कर सकते हो, न्यूज़पेपर रीडिंग शुरू कर सकते हो. कुछ अच्छी चीजें कर सकते हो जिससे आपकी पर्सनालिटी पर थोड़ी असर पड़े और आप अच्छा कर सको. वहां पर तो वहां पर कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ आंसर करो. वहां पर स्ट्रेस वगैरह मत लो. आपने प्रिपेयर अच्छा से किया है, अच्छा ही जाएगा.
ओके, थैंक
So, like we have discussed all the aspects of SSB and written प्रिपरेशन. लाइक इस वीडियो में तो ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है कि हम लोग सब कुछ डिस्कस कर ले एक साथ, क्योंकि उसने मतलब काफी लंबी जर्नी कवर करा है अब तक, है ना? और मतलब काफी मतलब ऐसा है मतलब कि प्रेम तो मतलब कहाँ से मतलब उसने, अगर मेरे को जहाँ तक मालूम है ना, वो मतलब इस मोटिवेशन के साथ वो अभी तक है कि मतलब उसे जाना है और कुछ करना है, ठीक है? और उसने मेरे को बताया था कि ही वांट्स टू जॉइन द गोरखा. So, like, is there any specific reason from your side to join the Gorkha?
Uh, they are very Josh type man. They do not fear of things. Or Captain Mushkar Pandey was from that thing. So I really admire him, and I think गोरखाज अपनी साइड के ही होते हैं. बिहार के ऊपर के लोग काफी अच्छे लोग होते हैं. आई वो लोग फेथफुल टाइप होते हैं एंड दे आर लाइक वॉरियर्स टाइप. जब उनकी आप कहानियां पढ़ोगे तो वो काफी फैसिनेट करती हैं गोरखाज की साइड जाने के लिए.
Okay, so thank you, Prem, for joining us. Like, we enjoyed your company, the kind of suggestions you gave us. I hope it will be helpful for the aspirants who are watching this video. I don't know what kind of response we will get in the future, but one thing for sure, we also learned here a lot of things from you. The kind of experience you shared with us. Also, I hope you will do well in the academy, and हम लोग ऐसे ही मिलते रहेंगे, ठीक है? और मतलब अब मतलब ऐसा है कि अब तो ज्वाइनिंग लेटर भी आ गई है हाथ में, ठीक है? अब तो तुम्हें ज्वाइनिंग करना ही है, ठीक है? ऐसा तो कुछ है नहीं, मतलब आने वाले टाइम में तो तेरी ज्वाइनिंग लेटर आ ही जाएगी, ठीक है?
या
तो नाउ ओके.
थैंक यू सो मच भैया फॉर यहाँ पर मुझे बुलाने के लिए. दैट इज व्हाट आई कैन से.